Italy, in the 19th century, was a land ripe for the seeds of organized crime. The country was grappling with a myriad of troubles, a breeding ground for desperation and lawlessness. Poverty was rampant, particularly in the south, leaving many citizens struggling to survive. This economic disparity sowed the seeds of discontent and created fertile ground for illegal activities to take root. The Italian government, still in its nascent stages, struggled to maintain control. Law enforcement was weak, rife with corruption, and unable to effectively combat the growing criminal element. This lack of effective governance further fueled the flames of lawlessness, paving the way for powerful criminal organizations to emerge and flourish. The vacuum of power, a direct result of government inefficiencies, allowed the mafia to solidify its grip on the Italian landscape. In this turbulent environment, the mafia, with its roots in Sicilian banditry, found an opportunity. They presented themselves as protectors and providers to a population disillusioned by the state's failures. Exploiting the desperation and lack of alternatives, the mafia quickly established itself as a powerful force, filling the void left by the ineffective government. This marked the beginning of a dark chapter in Italian history, one that would leave lasting scars on the nation's psyche. The mafia, born out of the chaos and despair of 19th century Italy, was quick to capitalize on the vulnerabilities of a struggling nation. They offered a perverse form of order and security in a landscape where the government was failing to do so. People desperate for protection and a means to survive turned to the mafia, unwittingly fueling their rise to power. The mafia's power stemmed from its ability to operate outside the law, while simultaneously insinuating itself into the fabric of society. They exploited existing social structures, leveraging family ties and regional loyalties to consolidate their influence. This intricate network of connections provided them with a shield of secrecy and an army of loyal followers, effectively silencing opposition through fear and intimidation. Their tactics were simple yet brutally effective: intimidation, violence, and the exploitation of fear. They preyed on the vulnerable, offering protection in exchange for loyalty and silence. This system, enforced through threats and brutality, quickly choked the life out of legitimate businesses and crippled the local economy. The mafia's rise was a direct consequence of a failed state, a stark reminder of the dangers of a power vacuum and the desperate measures people resort to when left to fend for themselves. As the mafia's power grew, so too did their grip on Italian society. Their influence extended far beyond petty theft and extortion, reaching into the very core of communities, twisting the social fabric to serve their criminal enterprise. The concept of Omertà, a code of silence rooted in fear and loyalty, became a powerful weapon in their arsenal. Omertà ensured that witnesses remained silent, crimes went unreported, and the mafia operated with impunity. Violence became a ubiquitous tool, used not only to punish defiance but also to instill a constant state of fear, ensuring subservience and discouraging any form of resistance. Public executions, often brutal and theatrical, served as grim reminders of the consequences of crossing the mafia. This culture of fear permeated every aspect of life, suffocating the spirit of the community and leaving citizens trapped in a web of silence and terror. The mafia's control over territory was absolute. They operated with impunity, dictating the terms of business, controlling the flow of goods and services, and imposing their will on the populace. Their influence extended to every corner of society, from local markets to government institutions, suffocating economic growth and stifling any hope of progress. The mafia's reign was a dark age for Italy, a period where fear and violence dictated the rhythm of life. The mafia's reach extended far beyond the shadowy back alleys and clandestine meetings. Their tentacles of power wrapped tightly around the very institutions meant to uphold law and order. Through bribery, extortion, and strategic alliances, they infiltrated the political system, corrupting officials and manipulating policies to serve their criminal agenda. Politicians susceptible to the allure of power and wealth became pawns in the mafia's game. They turned a blind eye to criminal activities, accepting bribes and favors in exchange for protecting the mafia's interests. This insidious form of corruption eroded public trust in the government, further solidifying the mafia's power and control. The consequences of this corruption were devastating. Laws were manipulated to favor the mafia's business ventures. Contracts were awarded through rigged bidding processes, and law enforcement agencies were rendered ineffective by internal sabotage and compromised officials. The mafia's infiltration of the political system crippled Italy's ability to combat organized crime, effectively holding the nation hostage to their criminal enterprise. Section 5. A Reign of Terror, High-Profile Crimes and Assassinations. The mafia's reign was punctuated by a series of high-profile crimes that sent shockwaves through Italy and beyond. These acts of violence, often brazen and meticulously planned, served as stark reminders of their power and their willingness to eliminate anyone who dared to stand in their way. Judges, journalists, and politicians who dared to challenge the mafia's authority met with grim fates, silenced by assassins' bullets. The assassination of Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino, two prominent anti-mafia judges in 1992, shook the nation to its core. These killings, carried out with ruthless efficiency, exposed the depth of the mafia's reach and the extent of their willingness to use violence to protect their criminal empire. These high-profile assassinations served as a turning point in the fight against the mafia. Public outrage reached a fever pitch, forcing the government to take concrete action against organized crime. The murders of Falcone and Borsellino became a symbol of the mafia's brutality, galvanizing a new wave of resistance and sparking a national conversation about the pervasive influence of organized crime in Italian society. Section 6. Living in Fear. The mafia's impact on Italian society. The mafia's grip on Italy extended far beyond the realm of politics and law enforcement, seeping into the very fabric of everyday life. The omnipresent threat of violence created a climate of fear that permeated every aspect of society, suffocating individual freedoms and eroding the social contract. Citizens lived under a perpetual cloud of suspicion, wary of speaking out against injustice or challenging the mafia's authority. The culture of silence, perpetuated by the Code of Omertà, became deeply ingrained in the social psyche. Witnesses to crimes remained silent, victims of extortion suffered in silence, and communities resigned themselves to living under the mafia's oppressive rule. Fear became the currency of power, ensuring the mafia's dominance and silencing any form of dissent. The mafia's influence extended to the economic sphere as well. Businesses were forced to pay protection money, stifling innovation and discouraging investment. The lack of economic opportunity further fueled the cycle of poverty and desperation, creating a breeding ground for further criminal activity. The mafia's chokehold on the economy stifled growth, leaving communities trapped in a cycle of poverty and violence. Section 7. The Cultural Stain. Mafia's influence on art and media. The mafia's influence on Italian culture went beyond the tangible effects of violence and corruption, seeping into the very narratives that shaped the nation's identity. Their story, a twisted tale of power, betrayal, and violence, found its way into the realms of art, literature, and cinema, captivating the public imagination while simultaneously normalizing their criminal enterprise. Films like The Godfather and Gomorrah brought the mafia's world to the silver screen, portraying their brutal reality with a mix of allure and dread. These cinematic portrayals, while captivating audiences, also served to romanticize the mafia's lifestyle, glamorizing their violence and power. This cultural fascination with the mafia, while understandable, created a complex dilemma. On the one hand, it provided a platform for exposing the brutal reality of organized crime and the devastating impact on Italian society. On the other hand, it risked glamorizing the mafia, feeding a morbid curiosity that could in turn desensitize the public to the true horrors of their crimes. The mafia's story, for better or worse, became woven into the tapestry of Italian culture, a stain that continues to provoke reflection and debate. Section 8. Fighting back anti-mafia movements and justice. Despite the pervasive fear and the deeply rooted power of the mafia, the spirit of resistance never truly died in Italy. Brave individuals and organizations, fueled by a yearning for justice and a desire for a better future, rose to challenge the mafia's dominance, sparking a movement that continues to this day. Journalists, judges, and activists, risking their lives, exposed the mafia's crimes, shedding light on their clandestine operations and holding them accountable in the court of public opinion. Their work, often carried out under the constant threat of violence, was instrumental in dismantling the wall of silence and galvanizing public support for the fight against organized crime. The Italian government, spurred by public outrage and the tireless efforts of anti-mafia movements, implemented stricter laws and dedicated more resources to combating organized crime. Witness protection programs were established, law enforcement agencies were strengthened, and a concerted effort was made to break the mafia's stranglehold on the political and economic systems. The fight against the mafia is an ongoing struggle, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the unwavering pursuit of justice. Section 9. Conclusion. Scars of the past, hopes for the future. The mafia's story is a dark chapter in Italian history, a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the societal decay that can flourish in the absence of effective governance. Their rise to power, fueled by desperation and facilitated by a weak state, left deep scars on the nation's psyche, scars that continue to shape Italy's social fabric today. However, the fight against the mafia also showcases the resilience of the human spirit, the unwavering pursuit of justice, and the power of collective action. Brave individuals and organizations, fueled by a yearning for a better future, challenged the mafia's dominance, proving that even the most entrenched criminal enterprise can be brought to heel. The struggle against organized crime is an ongoing battle, a testament to the enduring human spirit and the unyielding hope for a more just and equitable society. The mafia's story serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the importance of strong institutions, transparent governance, and the constant vigilance required to safeguard the freedoms we hold dear. It also highlights the crucial role of courageous individuals who dare to challenge injustice, inspiring future generations to continue the fight for a better world. For further exploration of captivating true crime stories and the ongoing battle against organized crime, delve into the world of investigative journalism, documentaries, and historical accounts that unveil the complexities of this global phenomenon.